Hello guys, welcome to BasketNews Talks. I'm the host Donatas Urbanas and we have Nico Mannion here in Radisson, Kaunas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
You've been through a lot through your career, but there were also some interesting positives. Like you had this privilege to go through basketball school of Steph Curry and Milos Teodosic. I mean, probably goats on both sides of the ocean.
Agreed.
If they both had the basketball school, what do you think, what would be the main rules of their basketball schools? What would be the slogan on Milos Teodosic basketball school walls and Steph Curry's?
It's funny because they're, like, in my eyes, they're two completely different players. And like you said, they're both, to me, Milos is the best passer I've ever seen. And Steph is one of the best players in the world, undoubtedly the best shooter in the world. So being able to be around both of them, it's a blessing. It's been a blessing. Steph taught me a lot. The thing I was super impressed with Steph about is just his work ethic. Like, you know, these guys are, you see him and you know he's one of the best players in the world, but seeing him every day, the morning after a game, he's in the weight room by himself, or after practice, he's still in the gym an extra 30 minutes after everybody else. And you see that, and then you understand why he is so good and why he is who he is. With Milos, he's almost like difficult to learn from because it's so natural to him, and it doesn't come natural to anybody else. If not, other people would do it. But for him, it's just so natural and it comes so easy. But he's taught me a couple things, just some passing tricks about spots and angles, and he's a basketball genius, and he makes it look so effortless. But I've been, like I said, I've been really blessed to be able to learn from two of the greatest in the sport.
How about this learning experience from Milos? I mean, he seems to be this very demanding, veteran, I would say, which he has his own, perspective of basketball, and he might be not so patient with young guys. How was this process,
Yeah, he's been great with me. He kind of was in not exactly the same, but he played in the EuroLeague when he was young as well, and so he knows how difficult it is, and he's been nothing but positive with me. He helps me out all the time. He's, like you said, he's demanding, but he's also just a great person. Like, he genuinely cares about you. So he's been there for me. Like I said, last year was rough for me, and he was always helping me out, giving me little pointers, and we've had dinner a couple times where we just talk about life, and things like that aren't seen all the time from teammates. So I hold that very, very closely because it means a lot.
Tell me about your experience last year. I mean, you had your own idea of making more money here in Europe, of getting bigger minutes, of getting this different experience to, let's say, make you stronger for the possible NBA return. You had amazing national team experience, and then the infection happens. Yeah. Then you have to go back into rotation of the Euro Cup title contender with a heavy backcourt. Right. Tough situation for you, and you're just 20 years old. Yeah. I mean, what did you learn about yourself? How did you get up from that situation?
Yeah.
Or you're still getting up actually from that?
Now, thank God, I feel great. Health-wise, I'm back to 100%. I put my weight back on, and I finally feel like I'm moving well. I think health-wise, I was healthy last year, but the way I was moving, I didn't really feel like myself till late in the year, So last year was difficult, and as much as it was physical, it was also a mental battle because I've been so used to playing a certain way and feeling a certain way for my whole life, and then, like you said, after Tokyo, I got sick and lost weight, and as I started to come back to health, it was just super difficult because mentally I'd already had a feeling of how I play, how I can move, and I physically couldn't do it. So that mental side of it was also very difficult for me. But like I said, now I feel great, and I want to thank the organization once again for just having my back the whole time, because I got here and was the lowest I could have possibly been. And they were very patient with me. They helped me back to health, and they had my back through the whole thing. So something I'm very, very thankful for.
How that lowest point looks like, and who was the example who kind of got you out from there? Because it's not like a typical injury.
Yeah.
There are some players who went through a lot of injuries, tough injuries. This is something different.
Right.
How did you, survive that situation?
It was a battle. Mentally, I'd say is the toughest part, because physically the pain was gone. I was finally putting weight back on, but just the mental side of it was wearing, and it was very difficult. But like I said, the organization was phenomenal with me. My parents obviously are my two biggest supporters. And like you said, it's not like injury. It's not, oh, you'll be back in 4 months or just do rehab. And there's no like guidebook, I'd say. There's no rules on how to get back to 100% health. So it was a day-by-day process, very, very frustrating at times. And like you said, we had a loaded backcourt. So it wasn't like I was just stepping into minutes and, okay, I'm healthy, I can play now. There was two different battles going on. Me trying to find myself and get back to who I was, and me trying to work my way through the lineup and find minutes wherever I could.
What did you learn about European basketball in general? I mean, what did you understand about the point guard position, point guard role, just point guard status here in Europe, how it differs from the NBA?
The control of the game, for one. I'd say they control the game very well. The pace of the game is different. And I'd say here it's more of a team game. There's more, the little details are so much bigger here than they are in the States. The spacing is less. There's more plays, and your decisions need to be made in a split second. So luckily I was able to play with the national team a couple times before, so I'd seen it a little bit. And as I was getting back to health, I was around the team every day, seeing it even more. And then once I got into it and started playing more, got a good feel for it. And I'd say I feel a lot more comfortable this year, just because I've had a year of experience in the European game, watching film, watching practice games, playing in it. So I'd say this year I'm a lot more confident going into games.
Nico, let's put one big elephant out of this hotel. I listened to your pod about the Warriors experience. You said you were close friends with Jordan Poole, and you also mentioned one interesting thing about Draymond and his trash talking, that especially early into the season, he trash talks more than at the other part of the season, and this is his way of calling out guys.
Right.
How surprised you were, watching what we actually all saw, knowing them from the inside, and knowing them personally?
I mean, it was definitely surprising, but I mean, I think things like that happen often in basketball, and guys are competitive. I don't know what was said. I don't know anything about it, but to me it was surprising. But at the end of the day, they're professionals and they're gonna handle it how they handle it. They're still gonna go out there and try to win games, and their relationship, I'm sure, will be fine. Just because, like I said, they're grown men and they're professionals, and their job is to play basketball, so they'll continue to do that. But it was definitely surprising to me.
What do you think? How it will impact their season?
Like I said, I don't think. Whether they win or lose, I don't think it's dependent on what happened. Like I said, they're both professionals. They get paid a lot of money to play basketball. So I think they'll be able to put it aside, and I'm sure their relationship will come back as well.
Did you see that kind of experiences in your career? Did you have that kind of situations? Not you personally, but in your team?
I mean, obviously you see the arguments and people pushing each other and getting each other's face and stuff like that. You see those at least every year. It happens. Guys have tempers, guys have egos. But no, I've never witnessed something like that. But one thing I will say is, like, Draymond and Jordan, they're both like great people. And for me, when I was there, Draymond was like one of my vets. When I was in the G League, he was texting me, calling me, talking about the game. When I got back after the G League, he was side by side, helping me and giving me little pointers. And JP was one of my best friends. So, like I said, to me, it was a surprising situation, but I'm sure they'll work it out.
Talking about the Italian basketball future, Paolo Banchero did an interview for La Gazzetta dello Sport, and he told that he kind of texts you during the Eurobasket competition, probably, and he said that you guys played against each other, let's say in the West Coast tournaments in the United States. What was your first memory of Paolo Banchero? What kind of experiences do you both shared, and why you maybe guys clicked together? How this relationship developed?
Yeah, it's been more over the phone. I think we might have played each other once when we were like really, really young. Like really, really, really young, like probably 14 U. But watching him develop, some of his posts obviously went viral when he was younger, dunking on people and stuff in high school. And but the way he's developed is unreal. To be that big and move that well and have such a feel for the game. I'm really hoping he can get over to the national team soon and come play with us, because I'd love to play with them. He just seems like he's just a good person. You know, texting him, he told me he's excited to come. He wants to come. It's just about finding the right time.
How do you imagine this, let's say, connection on the court? And can he be this missing piece for the Italian national team that maybe separates you guys from the podium?
I definitely think so. I mean, it's one of the, you know, he's up for Rookie of the Year this year, I'd say.
He's a center, so
he's going to be a star in the NBA, in my opinion, and he's a big, you know. So I think me as a guard, being able to play with him, play alongside him, and try to help him with the European game, because I know I know firsthand coming from America, it's a lot different. But I think we'd play well together, just because he's also very unselfish. So having someone like that on the team would be special.
One last question. Since you're here with Virtus shirts, what do you think, what will be the, let's say, driving force of Virtus Bologna this season that might be a huge threat for any EuroLeague team?
I'd say the one thing that I love about this team is our togetherness, how much of a group we are. And even though we've got some new guys that are still getting accustomed to things, I think us being together so often and having such good relationships with each other off the floor, I think that will really begin to translate and show on the floor. So that's something I'm really excited about. And I think we just have a deep roster. Like, I think we have a lot of weapons at a lot of positions, and it's kind of that next man up mentality. We can only suit up 12, but whoever suits those 12, we're going to be ready to go.
Thank you so much for the interview, Nico.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.